Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Grant Gustin because there's been this new video that's been released online. Also, we're going to talk about the potential return of Grant Gustin to the Arrowverse for Superman and Lois. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future DCTV videos later this year. Okay, first things first. Thank you all for your recent support, especially on the live streams. We live stream every Thursday, so come tune in this week if you want to support the channel. But also, of course, you guys for watching the videos, so thank you for all of that. But for now, let's go ahead and get into today's main topic. We're going to go through two separate topics, both to do with Grant Gustin, but the first one is a great crossover. And this crossover came out of nowhere. It was literally just like randomly put online on Twitter, and I just managed to stumble across it. I'm sure most of you guys have seen it by now, but I'll put the link in the description below to the actual video. And it's a crossover between Grant Gustin and Ryan Reynolds himself, so that being the Flash and Green Lantern and Deadpool. But basically this is actually an advert. It's not like a full-on crossover or anything, but it's a self-knowing advert that is very funny and it's great for fans. And so it was nice to see Grant Gustin returning as, I guess you could call it, a version of the Flash. Of course, the character he plays is just called like Seymour Roas. He's just like a random guy who is basically the chief executive officer of this ad agency, Mountain, which I think Ryan Reynolds at least partially owns. I'm not sure exactly the ins and outs of what the company actually is, but basically they've hired Grant Gustin because of him being the Flash, and there is some really funny references. I'm sure you guys have seen the video by now, but Ryan Reynolds is cracking Flash puns, Flash jokes every second that he can get. So he says, "That sounds fast," and then the music cues in. It sounds like the Flash music. It sounds like you're about to cue into, like, I don't know, Grant turning into the Flash and, you know, running off or something like that. So I just love this advert. I really wanted to just point it out in a video because it's just absolutely fantastic. It's a funny crossover that's nothing too serious, but it refers to how important Grant Gustin is as the Flash, that, you know, Ryan Reynolds has got him in this advert, and, you know, the cracking Flash jokes, like, it's fantastic. Like, they've chosen him over any other Flash, which I just think is absolutely amazing. Obviously, this is just me gushing about it because I think it's a really cool short advert that definitely promotes it well if you're a fan of the Flash or you're a fan of Ryan Reynolds. But a couple more funny lines I want to read out to you guys. Ryan Reynolds says, "Would you say people could see the results in a flash?" As Grant Gustin explains what's going on. He's like, "Yeah." And then they break character and Ryan is like, "You'll always be my Barry," and Grant replies, "You'll always be my Hal." So there you have it. That is the actual reference between the Flash and Green Lantern, and, you know, the fact that they're coming together for this advert, I just think it's absolutely fantastic. So go watch it. It's a really great short advert. I just love this mini DC crossover that we're having here. Obviously, this is probably the limit of what we're going to get from Grant Gustin related to the Flash for quite a long time, as far as I know, unless there is some secret plans behind the scenes with James Gunn to bring him into the DCU as a new Flash, if they recast Ezra or they just replace Ezra, because obviously Grant has been the Flash for 9 years, so it just makes a lot of sense to bring him back. But yeah, that is it for the first part of the video. Let's move on to some more speculation. Yesterday's video was kind of similar, but that was more about the ending of Superman and Lois and the ending of the Arrowverse. I want to talk here specifically about Grant Gustin, since we already been talking about Grant Gustin in this video. So what's the chance of him ever returning as the Flash, whether it be in Superman and Lois or in another project in the future? So I think, obviously, Grant Gustin has been the Flash for 9 years, right? So he's got that resume. Everyone knows how good he is as the Flash. He's clearly the favorite Flash when it comes to all the Flashes that have been on live action. And that's because, obviously, the show was super popular. And there is a lot of calls from people to bring him back in the DCU as the main Flash, because obviously people don't really like Ezra as much. And obviously Ezra is shrouded in controversy as of the last couple of years, and so definitely Grant Gustin is wanted by fans to return. But Grant himself, after the Flash had ended, he came out in an interview and he basically said he would be willing to return as Barry Allen and as the Flash if the project was right and if the screenplay was good enough, and it would be something that he would be interested in kind of re-picking up on. But obviously it probably wouldn't be a TV show, it would probably be in a film, because that obviously takes a little bit less long to actually film. And I think that is an important factor, because Grant has a kid now and he's got a whole new life since the end of The Flash. Obviously he was so busy during his time in those 9 seasons, because basically, if you guys didn't know, they film up in Vancouver and they're there for 9 months of the year. They pretty much live there all year round, and obviously the actors don't get much time to work on other projects. And so you have also seen Grant picking up his first Broadway show. Obviously we've seen Melissa Benoist do that before, we've seen Chris Wood do that before, we've seen Jeremy Jordan from Supergirl, who played Win, he's done that. And now you're seeing Grant Gustin doing his first ever Broadway show. That's going to be starting around February, March time, I believe. And then I think it's going to be running on for a good couple of months. Even Jordan Fisher, who played Bart Allen, he actually missed out on the end of The Flash season 9 because he was on a Broadway show himself. So Grant is fully into this, and obviously this is just a project for now. Actors don't stay on these Broadway shows forever, but he's clearly getting himself busy. That is my point here. And so I think in the future there is a chance that if he has the time, he could commit to a longer term project. But I'm going to say for now, the most likely option for him returning as the Flash will be in a cameo role. I think that's more likely than him like fully becoming the Flash of the DCEU. So it could be at the end of Superman and Lois season 4, with it being the end of the Arrowverse. But as I mentioned in yesterday's video, I think based on Superman and Lois's past and Todd Helbing's past comments, he's the showrunner of Superman and Lois, it's less likely that he's going to be super inclined to want to have crossovers in the final season, because he's made it pretty clear in the past that he wants to keep Superman and Lois very separate from the rest of the Arrowverse. But I think now, given the different circumstance with it being the final Arrowverse show and having been officially announced to end at the end of this season, I think there's a little bit more of a chance, I would say like a 5-10% more chance, that you might see a few cameos come the end of the season, and Grant Gustin could definitely be one of them, especially because Todd Helbing has worked very closely with Grant in the past, being the showrunner of The Flash during season 4. But as I mentioned earlier, there was reports that the Justice League might be getting recast in the DCU, and also James Gunn has previously said that he is down to actually bring back stuff from DC's past, whether it be from TV, film, or animation. He's made that explicitly clear. So he's going to take on some stuff, and that could be some characters, some actors into the new DCU, but he hasn't set out exactly what his true plans are and how far back he's actually going to go, and is he actually going to bring back some actors. And definitely with the rumor of the Justice League being fully recast and having, you know, the new Superman who we're having in Superman Legacy, the James Gunn film that he's directing, and then you've got that new Batman Brave and the Bold film, and a potential big roster of Justice League characters, including definitely a version of the Flash, which could be Wally West. We've speculated about that for a while. You could definitely see a Barry Allen in that, whether it's like Grant Gustin fully as the Flash, fully in the whole film, or just as a cameo in the future in some sort of project. I still think it's kind of likely. Out of anyone that we've seen in the past, more than Melissa Benoist, more than Stephen Amell, I believe Grant Gustin is the most likely person from the Arrowverse to show up again in the future in the DCU, and I guess that's just because of his popularity. And so I have some sort of belief that we'll see the return of him at some point, although you have to take it with a grain of salt because this is just literally me theorizing here. So that pretty much does it for this video, guys. What do you guys think? Do you think it's at all possible that Grant ever returns as the Flash? Obviously we saw a little glimpse of it here in this ad with Ryan Reynolds. I thought it was a really nice, short, self-referential ad that basically talked about the Flash, talked about Green Lantern, and it just made for a really good piece of short content. So go have a watch of that if you haven't watched it yet. But that does it for today's topics. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to leave a like and a comment. It would really help out the video. Also subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. And you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video. But for now, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
spicy room.